Hello everyone, I'm bringing you an unboxing video today looking at a large collection of US kit which has been sent to me by KTM999 over on Instagram, who's previously sent me various bits and pieces, mainly of East German origin, so this is a bit of a change. And effectively this is a collection of US kit which was surplus to his requirements, which he's just sent on to me, which is extremely generous and very kind. So we're going to have a look at exactly what's arrived now. There's quite a lot to get through, so hopefully this won't end up as a ridiculously long video. I'll try and be fairly brief on each item, and obviously a lot of this stuff will appear on the channel in more detail going forward. So thank you very much again, KTM999, and we'll have a look at what's arrived now. So those of you who are used to my unboxing videos will have expected to see a box here, and we normally would have a look at the contents in brief, and then I'd move it to one side and we'd start digging everything out. In this instance, I've basically got one set of kit out that was in a plastic bag, which would have been rather annoying to listen to me opening on the recording, and the three boxes which arrived I've put to one side, and I will start digging the contents of those out once we've looked at this little pile of kit in front of us here. So it's all US kit as far as I'm aware, and we'll start having a look at these various items now. First of all, we have a cold weather cap, which I believe is a US 80s era cold weather cap, possibly 70s, but oh, actually, yeah, 70s, so 74 on there, so a 1970s era. I believe these were still issued and used into the 80s. Cold weather cap there. Then we have something I'm not entirely sure of, but I think this might be a laundry bag, possibly. Someone could clarify on that, perhaps, but eyelets on both sides there with a draw cord. I believe, as I say, it may be a laundry bag. There will probably be some bits in here that I'm not very familiar with, because my interest in US kit primarily sits around the Vietnam era, Korea to a degree, and a little bit of Second War. So later stuff I'm not as well versed in. This is a sleeping bag, I know that much, and we do have labels here, so we just, if I can get I don't want to damage anything here, so I'll just fold the label out here. So you can see this is the Case sleeping bag M9045 water repellent. So this is the water repellent outer cover for a sleeping bag, as you can see here in the various details on the label there, in mint condition, beautiful condition there. So some interesting bits and pieces so far. I'll start on one of the smaller boxes next, and this appears to have quite a few canteens in it, so I'll dig these out and we'll have a look at these together. Canteen covered there as well, of course. Arctic canteen, which I don't have an example of. So we have a selection of US canteens, 1969 dated example here with the OD NBC cap there, which obviously works with the drinking system on the M17A1 that has the drinking tube, or do they all have it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but the drinking cap there. And then two examples with the black drinking cap. This one dated 1974, and just open up the cover for this one. This one dated 72. Again, you can see the inside of the drinking cap there. That's designed to work with the drinking straw on the gas mask or respirator. And then we have another bottle here. This one dated 66. With the plain OD cap there, as you can see. And then we have relatively early, well, this is, I think, pre-Alice. Is this possibly Linklow? Very early Alice. It's 73 dated, so fairly early post-Vietnam water bottle carrier. Not post-Vietnam War as a whole, but post, major US involvement in Vietnam. And this is evolving towards the Alice equipment, of course. And possibly one of the earliest issues. Later, of course, they have the strengthening, the stitching across, and there's an incremental development of the canteen covers through the Linklow system and then through Alice. So this sort of fits into that era of development. So nice to have in very tidy condition, as you can see, possibly even unissued, but an early example of these canteen carriers. So I'll pop all these back to one side, pop them back in the box, and we'll have a look at the Arctic canteen now. So this is an example of the insulated Arctic canteen, which came in these sort of a heavyweight M1956 style covers. You see cover, water canteen, insulated, which is the official term for these. If I pop these open, open this up, you can see, and it's very heavy even when empty. because of, if I can get this out, come on, there we go, because of the insulation. And you have the cap there. No, it isn't a screw cap. I wasn't actually aware of that on these. I've not had one of these previously. I've not handled one of these previously, so it's a nice thing to have anyway, but you have that there. So a push stopper in the top. Seen lots of photos of them, but never actually handled and had a close look at one. So again, a very nice addition to the collection there. Not something I would potentially have thought to buy because it doesn't fit with my sort of kit collecting in terms of my focus on Vietnam and so forth, but having one and being able to look at it, it's quite an interesting bit of kit, so very happy to have that. Right, moving on to the next box. Move this over here to ease access to it. Right, so we have some more familiar items here. First pattern M1956 pouch, unissued by the look of it, very tidy, and an M1956 butt pack, field pack there. An M1956 canteen cover. Very kind of KTM 999 to send all these bits over gratis because they are becoming more sought after all the time. Oh wow, some further interesting bits in here. So we have a second issue M1956 ammunition pouch as well, and some M1967 components. I think we have several of the ammunition pouches. So we have 4 of the short M1956 ammunition pouches, a couple of them used, a couple of them, well, maybe 3 of them used, and one of them looking a bit tidier, perhaps haven't been used. So some nice pieces there. And then we have an ammunition pouch here. This, let's have a look, 72. So magazine, nylon duck, ammunition pocket ammunition magazine, nylon duck. So that, interestingly, doesn't have any signs on the back. Is that part of the US Marine Corps equipment? I can't remember off the top of my head. It could well be. It's not, I don't believe it's an Alice pouch, but obviously has the sort of the design features of it's taller, but I'll have to look into that. I'm sure I've come across reference to these before, but obviously it doesn't have the side fittings or anything of that nature. So I think that might be part of the US Marine Corps nylon duck equipment, if I remember correctly, but I'd have to check that at some point. And then we have this, not sure what this is, whether this is just sort of home or locally produced. I don't know, here we go. Bag wet weather clothing. So, yeah, I assume for carrying wet weather clothing. Interesting. Again, not something I've come across before. I thought at first that was going to be something that was sort of produced or, just made up, sewing machine by somebody as a custom pouch. But no, it is indeed a specific thing. Interesting. Not come across one of those before. So that is the contents of the second of the boxes. Some really excellent stuff there. So very happy to have all of that. And obviously stuff I'm more familiar with from sort of the Vietnam War era. So the M1956 bits always welcome in the collection, because particularly canteen covers, you end up with guys using a lot of those. And then we have a box with a whole lot of other bits and pieces in. Right, the first thing I'll dig out here is a carrying frame of some description by the look of it. I'm not familiar with this off the top of my head. I imagine this is a radio carrier looking at it, but I can't see any details. Obviously the fittings and so forth match up with M1956 gear in that regard, the buckles and the hooks and so forth, but this is not something I'm immediately familiar with. Obviously padded to go against the back, you've got shoulder straps there and then a metal frame. As I say, I would imagine this is for carrying the radio, but I'm not 100% on that. I will look into it. Not something I'm immediately familiar with. I've not really looked into sort of radio carrying gear and everything. It's not an area that's really interested me for RTOs, radio telephone operators. It's not something I've really looked into. So we have some post-Vietnam equipment here, which I'll dig out. we'll have a quick look at the belts and bits and pieces first. So I think we have several LC1 belts here by the look of them. Yeah, we've got, there we go, belt individual equipment. We've got the DSA 74 date there, so that's a size large in very nice condition. And that has obviously the locket buckle, as you can see. A small locket buckle there. This one has the later plastic push buckle, which locks in like that, and then you just pry it open basically. Never really was a fan of those from when I've encountered them, and the label on there is pretty faded, but I think that's another LC1 belt, but with the later design of buckle. And then this again here is another LC2 now, 79, so this is the later designation. It doesn't really change all that much, but obviously LC1 evolved into LC2. So interesting, made by Cincinnati Association for the Blind. So an interesting manufacturer there. And then we have a couple of interesting plastic pouches here. You can see, there we go, we've got the details on the label there. Decontamination Kit Personal M258A1. There's a stock number and everything there. And you set inspection stroke test date of 96 on that one. And the same on that one, although this one has an additional paper label on the back, interestingly. Look at that there. With a further inspection date on the back. So a couple of those there, designed to clip on to the equipment as required with these simple metal clips, as you can see. About as simple as it gets really. Injection molded plastic container with a little strap and a hook. So move those to one side and we can have a look at the rest of the contents of box 3. I think I've knocked the camera pretty well there, I'll just recenter that. And then we have some miscellaneous straps, etc. Obviously, we've got the example of the suspenders there from the M1956 equipment. We've got M1967 suspenders there as well. We've got, I think, sleeping bag. Is this sleeping bag strap? Sleeping bag carrier? Not sure off the top of my head actually with that. Yes, I think it is. And another set of straps here. That again, I think that, yeah, no, again, it's the sleeping bag carrier. So that's designed to hook onto the M1956 equipment. I believe, looks like that's what it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, strap assembly. Oh, field pack adapter, sorry. So no, this is the adapter for the field pack. So you can carry the butt pack, basically the field pack, up on the shoulders on the suspenders of the M1956 equipment rather than on the belt. So it's an adapter which allows you to do that. You can basically carry it as a very small rucksack. I'm not seen these used in the field, but I don't have one in the collection, so that's a nice addition. And then we have here webbing strap and buckle. Don't know what this is off the top of my head. It's got like a, that's interesting, so it would hook in and you could then tighten this in around something using that style of buckle. I don't know what this strap is for, but we have a strap there. Obviously an LC1 or LC2 dressing pouch, first aid, compass first aid pouch with a dressing in there, as you can see. Let's have a look under the flap here. And the date there of 02, I think. Oh, 82, sorry, 82, possibly. Yeah, I don't know if these were still being made in 2002, probably not. So that there, and I think there's one or two other bits left in here. So we have another of those pouches, another LC1 pouch, again 82, I think. The ink stamps on these often fade down over time. And there's something else wrapped in bubble wrap here, so I will carefully withdraw this and we'll have a look. Here we go. So we have, oh excellent, so we have a oil bottle for weapon oil See that there, and which is a 70s data, 79, and then an M16 cleaning kit. Which again, I think I have the pouches for one of these, but not the cleaning kit itself. So looks like we have the contents there, cleaning brushes, rods, etc. So very nice to have, and again, not something I have with the contents. So a nice addition to the collection of US kits. So I'm going to have to make a little bit more room, I think, to fit all this stuff in, which is great, absolutely fantastic. So that's the collection out of the third box. Just double check there's nothing else in here. Doesn't appear to be. I mean, there's plenty already. That is a superb collection, and thank you very much once again to KTM 999. A superb set of US kit here that he sent over to me, and hopefully you've enjoyed looking through all of this here. So I hope you found it interesting looking at this. As said at the start, this is supposed to be a fairly brief run through. It'll be interesting to see exactly how long the video runs in the end, but we'll be looking at these items in more detail on the channel going forward. As I say, hopefully this brief look at the various items which have arrived has been interesting. If you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below, and that will of course alert you when I upload future videos. That's everything for this video, so until next time, bye for now.